Hi, in today's video, I'm just going to give you some homework hint to be able to complete 9 through 18, page 334, 335. We're still working with the same objective of section 1 and section 2, which is evaluating trig functions. And the 6 trig functions we talked about today and previously in those sections are sine, cosine, and tan, the cosecant, secant, and cotan. So right here in previous examples, they gave us a triangle, right angle triangle, and we were asked to find all those 6 trig functions. In this question, it's a little bit different as they did not give us a triangle, but they gave us one of those 6 trig functions. So we actually need to create that right angle triangle. So that's going to be step number 1. I'm going to create that right angle triangle. Not a perfect right angle, but tried my best. And you're going to locate an acute angle. And just a reminder, acute angle is an angle less than 90 degrees. So it's one of these two. And it doesn't matter actually where I would place it. But what matters is to label the sides correctly. So the side across from 90 degrees is the hypotenuse. The side next to the angle is adjacent and the side across from it is opposite. They gave us sine and sine of theta. So we read this as theta. This is the input of that sine function. It's an angle. And this is a Greek letter. So you could say sine x, but you're going to see this symbol used a lot in trigonometry. So it's an angle. Sine of that angle is 3/7, and we know that SOHCAHTOA, so sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So I would put the opposite as 3, hypotenuse at 7, and I'm missing a third side, and that's why we're going to apply Pythagorean. Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. So 3 squared plus, we don't know, missing leg squared equals 7 squared, which gives us 949, and x squared will be equal to 40. So x is the square root of 40, and we need to simplify the radical. So this is 16 times 5. That gives you 40, which makes it 4 square root of 5 as a simplest radical form. And now that I have all 3 sides, it will be very easy to fill in all those missing trig functions. So the sine, we already have it. We don't need to redo it. The cosecant is just the reciprocal of the sine. We can find the cosine, which is adjacent, and this is the adjacent, the side next to the angle, divided by hypotenuse. The secant will be the reciprocal of the cosine, so it'll be 7/4 square root of 5. The tan is toa, so opposite, SOHCAHTOA. So tan is opposite, which is 3, over adjacent, which is 4 square root of 5, and cotan is the reciprocal of the tan. So just to remind you guys, the cosecant is the reciprocal of the sine, the secant reciprocal of cosine, and cotan reciprocal of the tan. So now we found all 6 trig functions. Now one thing to be careful about, in the book in our book, they didn't worry a lot about rationalizing denominator, which means they were okay of having a radical in the denominator. Usually by convention we must rationalize the denominator, so we multiply by that same square root to get rid of the square root in the denominator. So square root of 5 times square root of 5 is just 5. And that gives us a 3 square root of 5 over 20. But that's okay for now if you didn't rationalize it. So this is how we can find all the remaining 5 trig functions given one of them.